I'll apologise up front if I seem a bit hungry and tired. I'm actually training for what will be my 5th marathon. Some of the newer marathon runners have asked me, do I have any tips or any signs that I've set off too fast? And as somebody who in his 2nd marathon set his PBs for the mile, the 5k, the 10k, the half marathon and the marathon, yes I do. It's when the bibs of the runners that I'm overtaking start saying Kenya. And the way you can remember that as a sign is, can you keep this pace up? No, you can't. Now, I went to a public school, so I got groomed from a young age. And they teach you some strange things at public school. One of the things they taught me was public speaking. I also do bits of acting, I do bits of this, bits of voiceover. So friends and family will ask me for advice when they've got to give a speech, a presentation, or maybe they want to switch careers. And one of my mates from back in uni decided that he wanted to give back. He'd spent his career in finance. I think he wanted to prove he still had a soul. But like many people, he is a nervous public speaker. So Dave did some research online for what to do when you're in front of an audience and you get nervous, and he wanted my opinion of it. So he called me up and said, I've heard that when I get anxious in front of the audience, I should picture them naked or in their underwear. Do you think that'll help me? I said, aren't you a primary school teacher? But at least he asked, because coming out of lockdown, another of my mates had been working as a barber, but his landlord decided he would jack up the rent of the place he was working. So he thought, you know what, I'll pivot, I'll change, and he got this idea of mobile hairdressers. He'd seen these mobile dog grooming vans all over the place. And he's always been good with kids, and he thought, well, nobody likes to have a screaming kid in the barber shop, so I'll go to them. And he got it all kitted out, lovely, he bought a van, got it all decked out. He asked me to come and see it. I had to gently tell him that you may not want to have child groomer on the side of the But just going back to if you're anxious on stage, a friend of mine in London, her name is Anna, she is a psychotherapist who helps people with anxiety. And she says you should ignore the advice, the common advice of trying to clear your mind when you're anxious. It doesn't work, it just sends the brain into overdrive. Your brain will try to focus on something, so you want to distract it by thinking about something else, because the brain hates a vacuum, which is why my carpets are a mess.
Yes!
I should mention here that I am autistic, and no, autism is not a superpower. You do not get it by being bitten by a radioactive autistic person. And in fact, autism is something in the UK. 85% of autistic adults, including myself, are unemployed, which would make it a really crap comic. On page 4, you defeat Galactus. Pages 5 through 9, you're in a conversation with a DWP decision maker trying to explain that saving the world might be a valid reason for skipping out of an appointment. And on page 10 they go, okay, we'll let you off this once, but next time the world is about to end, please give us 48 hours notice, or we will have to sanction you and you will lose your benefits for 6 months. And autism can't be a superpower, because if you've got a superpower, you become a superhero, and that involves change, and autistic people, we absolutely hate change.
Amen to that.
I know people say that change is inevitable, unless you pay by card. And some people do think it's difficult to tell that I'm autistic, partly because I got a lot of the stims bullied out of me till I grew up in the 1980s, 1990s. We didn't have much autism awareness. And people will say to me, well, Carl, why don't you wear the sunflower lanyard? And I've got no problem if people choose to wear the hidden disability sunflower lanyard. I don't think we should make it mandatory, though. Do we remember what happened the last time somebody suggested, oh, let's get this group of people to wear a yellow star-shaped symbol to identify themselves? try and talk to ghosts. And now I'm on Tinder. And it's weird being on Tinder. There's a couple of red flags that I do see in people's profiles. First red flag is, for me at least, is when women say that they want to be treated like a princess or a goddess. I'm a Republican atheist. I mean, I'm happy to try and abolish the first half of them. I don't think the other half exists.
Yeah.
And the other red flag, especially as I'm in my early 40s, and you do get a lot of single mums on Tinder at this age, and that's not a red flag. The red flag is when you're a single mother and you feel you have to tell us that your children are your priority. Of course, your children are your priority. You gave life to them. Their safety is your #1 priority. I do not expect to pick you up for a date, ask how the kids are. Oh, they're all right, I've left them working on an island tonight. And also, a lot of women still, even at my age, they seem to have this idea that they want to date the bad boy. And I've asked some of my female friends, why do women want to date the bad boy? And part of it seems to be this idea of, oh, I can fix him. I know a vet. It's not as if these guys are going to miss that part of their anatomy either. They are the type of guy who will justify their behaviour by going, nice guys finish last. I'm sorry, I think it's better that she finishes first, second, possibly third. If she's really lucky. These guys just love to announce how bad in bed they are. And they're also the kind of guy who go around talking about what an alpha male they are. Puffed up chest, I'm an alpha. Now, I grew up in the 1990s, as I said, and one of the most popular shows when I was at primary school was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So when you tell me that you are an alpha, you immediately start sounding like Alpha 5. And for those who don't remember Alpha 5, aye, Zordon! Readers escaped! You cannot take these people seriously when they start sounding like, aye, I like Lambos, aye, favorite cats are surrounding us, aye. Of course, not all of them want to be called an alpha. There's a famous one, I don't know if you've heard of, Andrew Tate. He wants his fans to call him the Top G, which apparently stands for gangster, that's spelled STA, not STD. And I guess that might sound cool to sort of a 12-year-old. Unfortunately for Mr. Tate, I know a dangerously small amount of Japanese. And there is a creature that is really common across the world. Their word for it is gokiburi. G-O-K-I-B-U-R-I. But they revile this creature so much, they don't shout gokiburi, they shout G. If they see one scuttling across the floor, G. Andrew Tate is calling himself the top cockroach. I've got a friend who's a comedian. She's a sex-positive comedian up in Manchester. Lovely woman, Kat Robinson. And part of her talk is usually that when she's playing with the guy's dick, she thinks it's more like a houseplant. You try and give it sort of, you might get it sort of damp to help it grow, and it'll give you lots of satisfaction. And I said to a cat, I think you're wrong on that. I think it's probably more like trying to raise a child. You might kiss it, caress it, give it lots of encouragement, smack it if it gets naughty. And you hope it will give you lots of satisfaction, but deep down you know it's probably just going to be a selfish, disappointing little prick. I'm all in favour of things being her body, her choice. I know there's been a big drive in America. There's starting to become a dangerous drive in the UK to end safe access to abortions. I think it's her body, it's her choice. But a lot of the proponents of the anti-abortion movement are white Christian men who will say, oh, if a woman doesn't want to get pregnant, she should just abstain from sex. And I think, as a Christian, they should know better. They should know there is no 100% effective form of contraception. Condoms, they can split. The guy can forget to pull out. And if you think abstinence is 100% effective, Mary, Mother of God, and her stretch marks will I work with you. I'm Carl Brown, you've got a lovely audience.